Today I'm riding this sleeper train for 96 hours across Australia. I'll show you exactly what it's like to live on this train, from economy to business to first class, how you shower, what food you get, and what it's like to sleep on board. There's even a separate viewing car to enjoy one of the world's longest train journeys across an entire continent. Let's pick up my story at the beginning of this mammoth trip in the far north of Australia. You join me here where I'm checking in for the Ghan. This is the convention centre here in Darwin. Just got to sort out the various formalities. Tickets, well, this I think is my ticket. We're invited to board a coach which will take us the short distance over to the rail yard, the other side of town. Here it is, one of the world's most iconic trains, the Ghan. The anticipation is building. It really does feel like the beginning of a huge adventure. The fact I'm going to be continuously moving across the continent for the next 4 days. The scale of this train is mind-blowing. What have I let myself in for? This is Platinum Class, or well, First Class, and it's one of the 6 key areas of the train we'll explore in detail on our journey. Oh, hello!
Hello!
How's it going?
No, normally Dad on the train.
How are you? Jet lagged?
Very, yeah, I feel really tired. Yeah, I'm trying to get it together.
We'll be alright, don't you worry. Some free-flowing champagne should help, I feel. It's not long before we trundle out of Darwin station, and so begins our epic voyage. Our first leg will see us travel relentlessly across one of the world's most inhospitable deserts for the next 1,000 miles, reaching our first refuelling stop of Alice Springs tomorrow morning. It's hard to gauge the size of our train, after all it is the world's longest at 3,000 feet, or 1 kilometre in length. Let's begin exploring by taking a look at our Platinum carriage, consisting of 5 suites. We're in a twin room, which is ideal when you're sharing with a friend or family member, but there are double suites also available. Currently made up in the day setting with 2 comfy chairs, table with provided water, sunscreen and sanitizer. There are Aussie plugs as well as controls for the AC. You'll benefit from dual aspect windows, although you can of course close the blind for privacy from the corridor. In terms of storage, there's limited wardrobe space, so I'd suggest packing light. Lastly, you of course get an ensuite bathroom. We'll check this out a little later, along with the other classes of travel. It's time for our first stop, albeit a relatively brief one. Welcome to our first stop of Catherine. Now, we were going to be going on a helicopter tour now. Unfortunately, that's been cancelled. Yeah, it's really disappointing, especially as it was confirmed this morning. Worry not though, we have an alternative. This will involve a short transfer by motor coach to a place called Nitmiluk Gorge, about 20 miles northeast by road. Here we'll be taking this riverboat up through this sandstone carved gorge on the lookout for crocs. Oh yes, saltwater crocs or salties are common around these parts and incredibly dangerous, but it does mean a tick in the box on the Trek Trendy Safari. Told you it was a brief one. We're back at the station to reboard the Ghan. Given the length of the train, there is a buggy service on offer to those in carriages closer to the front. It's a little bit colder in here, isn't it?
Oh, it's nice.
We do have a welcome back drink, and of course also a nice shower to freshen up because, yeah, it is much needed after that time of the heat. So what is our ensuite shower room actually like? Bear in mind, as you'll see in a moment, not everyone on board has one of these. It's a modern, well thought out space, complete with premium Australian cosmetics. As for the shower, it's powerful and usually warm, but given the circumstance, I'm having a cold one to cool down. Now to head for dinner, not forgetting of course to leave the make up room sign for the staff to turn down our compartment whilst we eat. This is the first class dining car, accessible only to those in platinum rooms. There's room for 30 guests at a time, with a specific sitting assigned to you by your cabin steward. The menu is reassuringly Australian, even featuring crocodile. The most impressive feat, of course, is how this is all made on board whilst the train is going at 60 miles an hour. Mum, who is vegetarian, chooses the zucchini and basil soup. I, however, just have to try the crocodile dumplings. For those wondering, croc tastes similar to chicken with the texture of fish. For mains then, Mum has the chickpea dal, and I, well, you know already, the fillet steak. To close off, I must try the rich and indulgent molten chocolate cake. Personally, I think dinner was a great balance of well-presented comfort food, rather than let's serve something really fancy that no one actually enjoys.
Oh, look, it's so pretty.
Oh,
That's
wow.
really nice.
Fantastic.
Oh, you've even got chocolate.
Well, I don't know how much chocolate I can have after our dinner.
During our absence, our room has been beautifully turned down by our cabin attendant. It's a smart use of space, having the beds fold down from the wall, and the more eagle-eyed amongst you may have spotted Baileys by our bed, served proactively each evening. What a touch. Don't you worry, no sleeping in my bathrobe will occur in this video. Let's settle in and get some sleep. Tomorrow we have much more exploring of our train to do, along with the landmark of Uluru.
The next day.
Morning all from near the centre of Australia. So far we've travelled almost 1,000 miles, but still have a huge distance until we reach South Australia. Oh, and something you may be wondering, what is the Wi-Fi situation on board? Well, in truth, it's non-existent, but I have managed to stay connected with Millie back home, and importantly without the roaming costs. How so? Well, for the last 3 years, I've been using Airalo, a convenient eSIM technology provider. Airalo makes travel seamless because I no longer have to get a physical SIM when I land in a new country, or buy an expensive global plan. I simply buy one of their affordable eSIMs before my trip, and once I land, I have access to data roaming without having to do anything, keeping my original home number. Airalo was so useful when I filmed my 7 continents in 7 days video, because they offer SIMs in over 200 countries and territories. They even have eSIMs that cover entire regions like Europe, the Middle East and Asia. Stay connected during your next trip, cheaper and hassle-free, by downloading Airalo now via the link in my description or by scanning the QR code right here. Plus use code TrekTrendy3 for $3 off your first purchase. Airalo has made my life so much easier and cheaper, and I can't wait for you to try it too. As we head to breakfast, we pass the small kitchen at the end of our carriage. This provides coffee making facilities and cold filtered water 24/7. But we're in Australia, home of the best barista made coffee available. This brings us nicely onto the Platinum Lounge. Located to the rear of the restaurant is a large double sofa complete with bar and espresso machine. Whether it's an Irish coffee, morning Bollinger, or freshly pulled cappuccino, they have you covered. It's also a great place to hang out and watch the world go by. Talking of which, crikey, emus! So that's crocs and emus so far ticked off our list. And no, before you say, of course it's time for a caffeine hit in form of an expertly crafted double shot cappuccino. We're told our table is ready for breakfast, so shall we? As we order, it dawns on me, Mum has yet to try an Australian staple, Vegemite. I personally love it, but people generally tend to be a huge fan or hate it. The trick really, and without getting too technical, is all in the application. So it's the moment of truth. It seems we have the Trek Trendy Mum seal of approval. Our other items then, Mum has gone for the tropical fruit parfait, whilst I've got the full breakfast with fried eggs, bacon, sausage and wilted spinach.
So I'm very happy to welcome you to Alice Springs, the geographic centre of Australia. Anyway, we've actually got a pretty interesting excursion where we're going to be flying over to Uluru.
To achieve such a feat, we'll need to hop on a coach over to the other side of Alice Springs. Of course, this can mean only one thing, the airport. After a brief check and procedure, which did include being weighed, our aircraft beckons. We'll be flying on board this 16-year-old Cessna Grand Caravan, an aircraft commonly used throughout the region, mainly because it can take off and land on a dirt runway. It's fair to say it's a cosy fit inside, with space for just 14 passengers. After a quick read of the safety card, we're off and taxiing past stored A380s and 777s. Within moments we have clearance for takeoff and we hurtle down the runway and up into the sky. Our flight will take approximately an hour and 250 miles east to Uluru. Finally we catch sight of something I've wanted to see all my life.
Very exciting.
It was, wasn't it?
But I am tired.
Yes, we are pretty tired out. The jet
amazing
lag.
scenery. It was
Yeah.
really good. I didn't expect it to be quite as like
Well, it was
that.
super clear.
Yeah.
Basically, it's been very rainy over the last few weeks, which is not normal, and it's made it so the visibility is incredible. So we were really lucky.
So we've stopped at Alice Springs Telegraph Station for dinner under the stars. Here messages would have been relayed across the country and as far afield as Europe from way back in the 1870s, a monumental achievement at the time. Today it's a visitors centre, but also our dining venue. Oh, and of course we can tick off another Aussie animal, the camel, of which the Ghan's name derives. By the way, that is indeed a didgeridoo. And finally, we're back at the train. What a wonderful day of exploring, but for now I have a comfy bed and Bailey's calling my name.
The next day.
Good morning. We've made solid progress during the night and are on track to our next stop, Coober Pedy, 500 miles south of Alice. Before we check out the business class section of the train, shall we kick off with a caffeine hit, whilst taking a look at this morning's menu. Mum has the Bircher muesli, whilst I have the shakshuka. Wow, I'm so very pleased to have seen a roo, to me the most stereotypical Australian animal. As we thunder ever further south, it's time to head up the train. The other side of the Platinum Lounge provides access to the Gold Carriage, which in turn is home to business class. Business class consists of twin berth ensuite rooms. These are laid out with a sofa by day and fold into 1 or 2 bunks by night. The ensuite is smaller than first class, as the shower is part of the wet room. Each carriage also gets their own kitchen, with filtered water and coffee making facilities. In terms of dining, there's a separate restaurant, named the Queen Adelaide. This is laid out like a traditional diner, with every table being for 4, so you'll certainly make some new friends. The menu, whilst not as extensive as Platinum, is still hearty and of high quality. And just like that, we pull into Mangori Station, all ready for our excursion.
Well, a beautiful good morning from Mangori. Let's hop on the bus and go on a tour and explore Coober Pedy.
I'll be the first to correct myself here, before I get stick for mispronouncing Coober Pedy. It is my first time here. So to get into town, we'll need to travel about 20 miles up this dirt track. But why are we here? So this has to be one of the most bizarre and intriguing places I've ever visited. First and foremost, it's a mining town, but more pertinently, a large amount of the residents live underground. More on that in a second. We're first going to visit the Umuna Opal mine. This is one of 70 opal fields in the area, and in fact provides most of the world's gem quality opal. And if you're wondering, this is mined opal. Aside from our attempts at mining, we're actually here to have lunch underground, which is certainly quite the experience. After lunch we head downtown to see how some of the locals live. Yes, this is indeed someone's home. Their churches are also underground, and the rationale here is the heat during the summer months is so intense that this actually provides the most efficient and natural cooling out here. Still, not sure it's for me. After a busy few hours of exploring, I think we've earned a refreshment. Let's head back into the Platinum carriage and indulge in some ice-cold champagne. As we get on the move again, it's time to check out more of the train. First up, the Outback Explorer Lounge, which anyone on the train can access. It's open throughout the day, providing ample space to stretch out, enjoy the views, and indulge in a freshly pulled coffee. Drinks are all included here, so it's certainly a good place to explore their Australian wine selection. The only chargeable area on the train is this small gift shop. And finally we reach the economy section of the train. I feel this really doesn't give the product justice, as Gold Single as it's known is actually an overall solid product, having gone on this on the Indian Pacific before. For your booking you'll get this small room, which has enough space for a chair, large window and a sink. The door mercifully does close to make it completely private, which you'll want when the chair is converted into a bed at night. Well, as you've seen, there's no room for a toilet in your accommodation, so instead there are shared facilities, with about one for every 5 passengers. Lastly, there's also a separate shower room, compared of course to my first class shower, which I'll be taking now to freshen up for dinner. Worry not, I'll go through all the pricing of each class, including what I paid in just a second. Firstly, we have dinner to attend. I feel somewhat guilty I'm eating one of the Trek Trendy safari animals, but I've chosen the kangaroo to start. It's gamey and quite tough, but still very tasty. Meanwhile, Mum has the twice baked cheese souffle. Now for main, we both choose the tandoori roasted pumpkin with coconut raita. To close off proceedings, you bet I've ordered the golden steamed pudding with salted caramel sauce.
The next day.
For once, I'm going to enjoy my morning coffee in bed as we discuss the cost of this trip. Starting in economy, this will set you back $2,700 US. Moving on to business class at $6,100. And finally, what I booked, Platinum class, which cost me $10,600, and yes, as usual, I paid in full myself.
Welcome to Adelaide. Mum, how's your experience been on the Ghan?
It's been great actually. Not what I expected, but
Yep.
it's very comfortable. Good
It was
food,
awesome. Oh, the food.
and the train rocking you to sleep at night. That's really
That was
relaxing.
lovely,
Yeah,
wasn't it? I have to
enjoyed
say
that.
we've slept well, we've eaten well,
Yeah.
but with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you all again next time.